Greetings, fellow cruisers. This is Jeff from Enjoy Life Traveling. Today, I wanted to take on a subject that is near and dear to all of our sports hearts. We get the big game coming up, and of course, depending when you're watching this, it could be different games. But in this particular case, we're talking about the football game, and for copyright reasons, I won't say the name of that particular major league-ish bowl game. So, usually I do Royal Caribbean, and so that's kind of where my knowledge is from, so I will give you that. I have seen this many, many times. The first thing to tell you is the big game will be shown on the cruise ship, and I wanted to discuss where it's going to be shown and how you can watch it and what games, even if they're not necessarily the big game like a championship type game, the other games, one of those is going to come into play. So I want to do all that for you. So first thing is, regular season type games may be shown on a ship, but you may not necessarily get to see it. Usually this will be on the Royal Caribbean app. You can kind of see what the schedule is as far as what team is going to be there, your version of the most important team versus whatever's being shown nationally or wherever they're pulling their feed from is going to be different. And that is going to be shown. Doesn't really matter whether the ship has a sports bar or not. The game's going to be available to you. As far as the big game goes, though, and whether that be a football game, baseball game, soccer, hockey, they do a pretty good job of having those on the screens, and it does vary from ship to ship, so I want to try to cover that. My experience on the smaller ships is that it can generally vary as far as the bar goes because they don't always have sports bars. So, for example, say like your Radiance class, there is a sports bar on one of the ships, but it is not the Playmakers, and I'd be talking about Jewel of the Seas there next to Casino. Instead of having the English pub, they have a sports bar, and the game was shown there, and I'm talking about a playoff football game there. And they also had that on the pool deck, and it was available in our stateroom on television if you didn't want to necessarily go through all the people. Now, there's more to that than just being able to find the game. Is a room to sit, and that's where it can really be challenging. So when, again, I've been on a few different ships. I've seen this. I was on Mariner of the Seas. I've been on multiple ships, but this particular season, it was Mariner where the football game was on. And as far as Playmakers goes, you couldn't get a seat. I was looking 2 hours beforehand, and there was no seats available, and I kept checking back. And again, there were just no seats. Everybody was hunkered down, and they were there for the game, and they had got there plenty early because there's not a lot of seats for that. So what I had done at the time was I went to my room and watched it for the first half, and then I went to the pool deck for the second half. At the time, I was trying to figure out if they had sound or not because I had went to the Sky Bar and asked, and they said they didn't know if they were going to do sound or not because, at least on regular season games, that's not always the case. This was the first playoff game, and the people that were working that bar wasn't sure. However, I did watch the first half, and then on the second half, I went up to the pool bar because, I knew that I couldn't get into to Playmakers, and it worked out just fine. I was able to get a seat, and again, no big deal there. As far as getting the drinks goes, it was a little bit harder. There was a lot of people, particularly on that ship, that were into the game. I was sailing out of Galveston, and the Chiefs were playing the Texans, and of course, there's going to be more Texas people on that ship. So there was a lot of Texans fans on there. Me being from Missouri, I was rooting for my Chiefs, and I was definitely the odd man out. But again, it was civil, although you had a few crazy people. But that's just life, and it worked out. So I would tell you that if you're going to, first of all, be on any ship, as far as for any of the big games, the big games, I would tell you to consider the pool. However, since you're talking in this case January or February, sometimes it can be a little cool depending on the weather. Matter of fact, sometimes it can rain and not even be a thing for you. But you want to have something available to you to wear that is warm enough, just in case you have that inclement weather. So keep that in mind when you're looking for a place. But again, if you're looking to be inside and you're wanting to be at just like the sports bars, like a Playmakers, you need to get there really, really early. Because again, 2 hours was not enough. And I would have certainly thought that 2 hours would have done it. And again, I checked and it was the same people sitting there over and over. So no one was moving, and I don't blame them. What I was a little disappointed with, not that I didn't completely understand, is that, again, this was on Mariner. We had went into the English pub, and I say we because I was talking about it and people had overheard me. I was heading to the English bar to see if they would consider showing it. The English bar was dead. There was nothing planned, and we had talked to the bartenders, and they had said that they would love to have the game there because there's nothing going on, and literally there was nobody in the pub, whereas the other place was completely packed and you couldn't sit. But they had said that their experience, because they had been asked this before, is that when they talked to the person in charge of that, that they just simply denied their request and they would not put the game on that screen. Again, so the choices were to go to the pool or to go to the sports bar, which again didn't work out, or your room. Problem with the room is that, if you're trying to have a drink, then that's not the same. And some of the big game is having the people around you and being able to cheer with them, or, discuss the different plays and flags and that kind of stuff. That's a part of it. And it's unfortunate they wouldn't make that adjustment, but it is what it is. And that's why one of the reasons I really thought it would be important to make the video is because it is not a slam dunk that you may get to watch the game, particularly where you want to watch. So I wanted to say plan ahead, get to know it. Most of your places, your Voyager class on up, will have a Playmakers, but you want to get there early. All of the places have pool decks, and with the pool decks, again, there's going to be a chair issue, but usually not too bad because you've got some different options as far as the lower decks or the high decks to see the big screen TV. And again, depending on the game, there may not be sound. So keep that in mind when you are looking to go watch your team play. There is some planning that is needed, and it is not going to be shown, even though you feel like it should be at all these other places that's got televisions. Obviously, some of the massive ships may have changed that. I have not been on Icon, so I can't speak to that. I have been on Allure and Wonder and Utopia. They want to show the games. They have the Playmakers, and they may have some other places available. I don't want to necessarily speak to all of those, but the main thing here was to make sure you're planning ahead as to what you're going to watch and where you want to watch it, because the game will be shown, but it may not be shown with sound, and you may not be able to get a seat. I appreciate you watching. This is not my normal schedule to put one out. I just put one out yesterday. I thought I'd just put this one out today as a little extra thing, because people want to watch the game, and it's like, well, where do I watch it? And you see this on Facebook, what to do. A lot of people don't know, and I would tell you to plan way ahead if you're wanting to be inside. If not, plan to be outside, have proper clothing to wear, just in case, but the pool deck is probably your next best option unless you want to be in your room. Thank you for watching. Appreciate your support. Please hit that thumbs up button, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.